We did the Caledonia Wine Cottage in Caledonia, Missouri, which has a lot of history, Civil War, slaves.
What did you guys find out there?
Is that the one with the gun under the bed?
No.
No.
That one, we didn't actually have a lot of physical evidence. There was a lot of experiences, and a lot of our equipment failed that night.
The batteries died?
The batteries, things were making, the one recorder just continually started looping. You know, it got to a point and it would loop over. It would loop over and loop over. So we couldn't explain any of that.
That's also where the EVP that I found, or the weird mechanical voice. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we were all outside on break, and something happened in the kitchen that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard papers rustling next to one of the recorders.
And you guys heard the audio, which we couldn't pull it. It wouldn't work when we tried to copy it, but it was on the recorders of like an old-time radio.
Right.
That was playing, and we had a recorder set up near the outside where they claimed to see like the way they described it was like a Civil War soldier that would walk through there. But there was, you heard it, I don't know the way to describe the music.
Yeah, it was just, to me, it reminded me of a carousel. That was the best way that I can describe it. The big thing is, if, like Eric's saying, trying to pull it off of a recorder, if it's so faint like that, and we're not going to try to enhance things just to give somebody something. We would much rather tell you it's inconclusive, and we would like to come back and continue our investigation, as opposed to try to force finding something.
Right, because they're not hearing it enhanced, so why give it to them enhanced? We try to give it to them in a natural way that they would experience it. Not go, look, we've taken this picture and we've, you know, zoomed and and pixelated it, and look, there's a guy there. No, we're not going to do that. I mean, if it's not there, it's not there.
So you guys brought some equipment in today. Why don't you explain what each piece is and what it does, its function?
These are just some samples of some different kinds of the EMF detectors. This particular one here we find is pretty accurate, and what this is doing is it's measuring the electromagnetic field. And typically in a room you would want that field to be pretty stable, unless you're around a piece of equipment like a refrigerator or, you know, electrical wiring and, you know, things like that.
Most rooms will have like 0.1 to 0.5 just naturally.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a 1.5 in here, and that's just because there's a lot of microphones and equipment and everything. So really what we'd be looking for if there was something in this room would be a spike, which isn't just a couple of decimal point places increase. It would be, you know, we were at a 1.6, it would go up to like a 3. And maybe other activity at the same time would be happening. This one's kind of neat because it's pretty accurate, but the downside is it doesn't have a backlit screen, so we use a couple of others. This one, the Mel meter, has the milligauss reading on it, but it also has the ambient temperature, which is really useful because you can see the spikes in the EMF at the same time as you can see a temperature change. You can actually record that, and then you could use that as part of your evidence.
And the change would be colder, right?
Normally. But you can ask the entity to do whatever you want it to. If you're cold, you can ask them to heat it up and make it a little bit nicer for you. So. And then this one, actually, I don't know who started it, but I know I first saw it on that episode of Ghost Hunters where they were doing the Manson house. And this is the piece that's pretty controversial because in some of them, you actually have to stick like a coin in here because it's operated with your thumb. And any little motion could make this change. And so now they've gotten to the point where this has a click on and a click off. So we can turn it on and set it out in the middle of the room and put a video camera on it, and then we can ask the entity to light up the lights. So usually, it's a little high in here, but usually it'll just be on a steady green with the first or second light. And then if you ask the entity to come closer to you or to come stand by the lights or to change the lights, you know, they can flash it all the way up to red. And you can use it to ask yes or no questions, or just to, the stronger the spirit is, the more you can get it to do.
And if you've just got it sitting somewhere and all of a sudden the lights start going up, I mean, why would it do that? I mean, it normally shouldn't. I mean, then you try to find out why, but the idea is it's been sitting there, it hasn't went off yet. Now all of a sudden you're getting 4 and 5 red lights, so that's the idea that then something is nearby it.
You know, and we'll look up, if it's on the floor, we'll go to the floor below it and see what's underneath the floor, or if it's, you know, by the wall, we try to find out what's in the wall.
It might be the wiring.
So, and then
it might be somebody flipping a switch in another room. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to take into account.
And then this one, the ghost meter, it's actually the least sensitive as far as detecting the EMF, but we like it because it's audible and it has a flashing light, and you can turn the volume up and down, and you can just set it somewhere, and then we can be investigating in a different part of the house, and then we hear the beeping and we know that something's going on, so we can come back to that room. Or if we didn't want to hear the beeping, because when you heard the audio, it really interferes with the audio sometimes, you can turn it down and just look at the flash. So that's pretty neat too. So different people prefer different tools, just like with anything else. So
it looks like a thermometer that goes in the ear.
Yeah, it is. But this is it's an infrared thermometer, and that's really, really nice. Like if you had an object that you wanted to take the temperature of, and usually the ambient temperature and the thermal temperatures are pretty close together, but it just kind of depends on where you are and what's in the wall and if there's a window there and those kinds of things. So.
And we use numerous audio recorders and handy cams, and we have a DVR system that we set up. We'll just set cameras in certain areas of the house, and it records. It's like a night vision security system, and we'll set those up. There's no audio with it, so we always set an audio recorder next to it, and then that usually is wherever they claim the most activity. That way we don't have to worry about it. We just set the cameras there and see what happens, and can investigate the rest of the place.
You want to play some more of the EVPs?
Yeah, which one do you guys want me to play next?
With them. I got pictures here too.
Well, actually, it'd be a neat one to talk about the number 3 on there. That's one that we had a lot of discussion about because unlike on Ghost Hunters and some of the other shows, we don't always agree on what we think the EVPs are saying, and so we play them for each other. We play them for other people. We try to see what they come up with. And this one we're a little bit divided on what we think it's saying or if we know what it's saying. But this one was a house.
Where was this one done at?
This one was a house near Florissant.
On New Florissant?
No, in Florissant.
In Florissant, yeah.
And it's on our website, the Greenhouse.
What street?
We can't disclose that information.
I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. My house I grew up in Florissant, and my house used to give me the creeps, especially in the basement. Over towards the neighbor's house over here. It would just give me creepy feelings because I don't know, what I believe, whatever, but I just know that area gave me creepy. And the people that lived next door said they had a ghost in their house. And I just wonder though, because they said the chair would rock back and forth all the time upstairs, and there'd be weird stuff going downstairs in the basement.
Does your family still own the house? We can check it out.
We just sold the house, but I just actually heard from these people, so I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be kind of cool to go back there and just see, because I've always wondered, was there really something really creepy there? Why did I always feel that way? And I didn't like going to the basement because of that area over there.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Florissant, the whole North County area, has a lot of history to it, so it wouldn't really be surprising. There's a lot of really cool history in that area.
Yeah. Kind of creepy. But yeah, it just used to freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, we can play this one.
I mean, is that what you're feeling? Is that what people say they get creeped out, or just?
That would be one beep for yes. Yes. One beep for no. What's that?
Anyways,
yeah. Well, nobody's touching it.
But it was 1 beep for yes and 2 beeps for no. Twice for no, which means yes.
Okay.
The K2's going a little nuts.
I know.
Alright, so let's go ahead and play this, and then we'll go back and talk about it a little bit. That's kind of creepy. Alright, so this one is in Florissant, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You're starting to convince us. So do.
Was that you?
It goes on, but no.
No.
The EVP's done. It does. The clip goes on.
No, that's me. Jen and I were in the bedroom together.
Why is it doing it when it was turned on?
And at that point, we were trying to figure out what was going on with the equipment, why it was behaving strangely.
Why does it do that? I don't know. Yours is going down.